So Microsoft has actually acquired Activision for $69 billion. I guess this is the deal that they can still put out there because they offered $60 or $70 billion to Discord and Discord turned it down. That wasn't the best call. So basically, I mean, is Microsoft about to step into the gaming arena? Well, I mean, they already are in the gaming arena with Xbox, but I don't know. This is a pretty wild acquisition, right?
Yeah, it's massive acquisition. It's also like surprising. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of ironic. They broke apart Microsoft back in the day, but like now these like $1 trillion companies, they just like buy $100 billion companies and like, oh, it's fine. Like it's fine. We don't do much in gaming. They just become these huge conglomerates. But yeah, I mean, I think Europe was like the last one holding out, and I think they're kind of starting to buckle now too. FTC gave them the green light, or at least the judge did. So, yeah, it's going to be a big deal, and we'll have to see what Microsoft like does with the IP. But yeah, I think there was a lot of basically they really wanted to make sure that like Microsoft wasn't going to, make all of its games, exclusive to the Xbox, all of the Activision Blizzard games, but they really wouldn't do that anyways. A lot of those games are played on all the consoles. They want to make that cash.
It's not a monopoly if you pay me enough.
Amen, brother.
Like, how come banks aren't monopolies?
They are. Everything's monopoly. The FTC is.
Well, like, doesn't JP Morgan own like 60% of the banks?
I don't think that's the distribution, but they do own a lot. But you have the biggest banks like Citibank, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, all the biggest. I think Wells Fargo would be up there, Bank of America. Those are the main four.
I think you said five, but we'll let that slide.
No, Bank of America, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, and Citigroup. Those are four. But in terms of those being the largest, inherently it's not a monopoly
because there's four.
Yeah, exactly. So that kind of
I like this. It's like the railroads in Monopoly because there's four.
I don't know which Monopoly you're playing that has four properties on anything.
There's sides of the board.
Sorry,
four railroads specifically, one on each. Okay. See what I'm saying? That's how they get around it.
So Easy had pointed out that Microsoft was he liked it as a stock pick. And that was, what was that after? Was that after the run on Microsoft? Yeah, that was after the run on Facebook. Is that right?
Yeah, it was right after Facebook came out and announced right after Apple came out with the provisions. And then Facebook ran as well because of the competitor with like their whole metaverse play. I had said like Microsoft seems the most interesting here because we're now seeing NVIDIA cook and Microsoft owning OpenAI was where I was like, this feels like it's lagging. And sure enough, looks pretty good. I'll tell you that much. Got the old TradFi hat back on. Feel pretty good about Microsoft here.
Well, yeah. One of the areas that like gaming is headed is cloud gaming. And essentially how cloud gaming is going to work is think about like the normal cloud, but for gaming, meaning that instead of you needing to have a high-end computer, you would be able to play high-end games on pretty much any computer. And the actual like graphic, GPU, heavy CPU stuff is happening in the cloud. And then you're basically, just mouse and keyboarding, inputting actions. So like this acquisition may not make a ton of sense now, but if you look ahead 5 years from now for where gaming is headed, this could be a strong move for Microsoft too. If I'm wrong, are they pretty good in cloud, or had they been lagging Google and AWS? And maybe this is how they're trying
Microsoft?
Yeah.
Azure is
it's like one of the biggest.
But are they number one, or they number two, or are they number three?
They're probably number two to Amazon at this point in time, but they are massive within the enterprise cloud solutions.
So I'm wondering if this is a move for them to really, like 5 years from now, be like the top dog on campus, because this is going to be a big new market.
I don't know if they'll ever flip Amazon on it just because of Amazon's Amazon cloud services are their highest revenue generating thing for Amazon. So I think it'd be more difficult for that. But I think honestly, I think Microsoft is going to come out on top with the AI side of things.
You
plain
also
and
have
simple.
Google Cloud, which I think actually may be larger than Amazon. I don't know. I got to look at the current rankings, basically.
I think Google may be bigger for consumers, whereas Azure is bigger for enterprise.
So it's AWS, then Azure, then Google Cloud. That's the rankings according to this. And it's 32%, 23%, 10%.
So
Azure,
Azure's not even that far back.
you keep saying Azure. Isn't it just Azure?
It's Azure.
I don't know, dude.
It's Azure.
I think a French dip is that you, right?
I've been hanging out with Kicks too much, dude. Like, we have Google and Azure.
How about Google Cloud?
Yeah, they're 10%.
It's Google.
Google. Go ahead.
I think the biggest thing is like, when it comes to like enterprise, Microsoft has always been dominant, especially on the security side as well. And they also have like, if you go to any large company now, they're not using Slack, they're using Microsoft Teams. And
Really? Is that
Yes.
Yeah,
It used to be Skype Business for a lot of like old school enterprise stuff.
well,
and
Microsoft Teams is larger than Slack at this point, so they already have larger market share than Slack. I think ultimately, when it comes to the commercial side of things, Azure is the biggest. And I think wasn't there a big there was a big government contract deal that AWS lost and is now in the courts basically, and I think they lost it to Azure.
Yes.
And so that was because the government was going to select their like holistic cloud computing provider, which is insane to like when I don't know if it was the military, whatever it was like basically this $27 billion contract or something like that. It was some absurd amount. And I think Microsoft was just like, well, we'll just take that money and go buy Activision.
Yeah. Yeah. I do want to like, I'm also confused here because like you have Salesforce in the business realm and they never get called a monopoly. They just bought Slack. Like,
Well,
they're all literally monopolies.
No.
Like, FTC is just falling.
No.
100% they are, dude.
No.
collectively be a monopoly. Like Google.
What do you think Standard Oil did, dude? They vertically integrated. Do you understand what vertical integration is? It's you don't own 90% of oil manufacturing, but you own.
Kicks, you're overthinking this, dude.
Things not said on most NFT shows. Do you not understand vertical integration?
It's a funnel system, Kicks. They buy wide and funnel down.
This is all monopolies, man. This is oligarchy. This is tech oligarchy.
Oligarchy.
This is the provenance. This is
you guys
provenance.
see. This is the problem. You guys search on Google. You guys don't use DuckDuckGo, okay? Because Google is just censoring their results. That you
the
don't
woke
understand.
left is giving you the results
Dude,
that they want,
Bing.
right?
I use Bing and only Bing because I'm a Microsoft maxi. They're not a monopoly. We stand with Microsoft. We stand with Activision.
Google on Google is Google a monopoly. Then Google on DuckDuckGo is Google a monopoly. Check back in with me.
I'm saying Google's a monopoly for search.
Everything.
No, you can't. That's not the way it works.
It's a monopoly for cereal production.
Yep. Yeah. How come Kellogg's isn't a monopoly?
Salesforce and Oracle are big. They're 3% and 2%. Salesforce being 3%. Oracle being 2%, IBM being 3% as well. You know, I remember when our Tub Talk was sponsored by Salesforce, is one of the best global cloud computing solutions that exists. And if you're looking,
Oracle,
that was the second one that hasn't been published yet, actually.
Nick, what two companies control all of Maps data?
Maps data?
Yeah.
Apple, Google.
Okay, what two companies control all like mobile devices, software on them?
Apple
and
Samsung.
Apple and Google.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm kind of
Google
runs
an operating system that's on the Samsung device.
Oh,
you see where
I
I'm
didn't
getting
know. Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Yeah. Oh, there's two of them, so it's not a monopoly.
Is Apple one of the biggest? Are they a monopoly as it applies to cloud computing, Kicks?
No.
They're about to be.
Are they?
Just wait, dude.
They're not on the list of
No, these guys all go to a little fucking party and they all carve up the whole tech space and like, well, like I can't go there, else it's gonna look real.
Is Yuga
sketchy.
Labs a monopoly?
No.
Yes.
I think so. I think so. They're launching a metaverse. They have dogs. They have mutants, and they got things that poop on tiles. Sounds pretty monopolist.
Kicks, I can't believe you're not like, you're standing up against one of the men, but you're not standing up against the man in our space, basically. And I apologize.
I mean, they're definitely acting like they want to be a monopoly. Like they're a monopoly in training. 100%, dude. They're like in Monopoly high school. Like, what are you doing in Monopoly? Buy up all your competition, right?
Have you read 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel? I haven't, but I read the summary. And the synopsis in there is you want to be a monopoly.
Yeah, it is. Have I said anything negative about being a monopoly? No, but factually, all of these companies are massive monopolies. That's why they're so rich. That's why their stock looks like a ski slope.
I think that's just because the market's doing cocaine.
Oh,
I'm just saying, like, people getting overhyped about like all these different things. 2.5.
Who manufactures all of the CPU chips in the world? 2 companies. Intel, AMD.
Nick, are you saying that you think that the market is irrational right now?
Sorry, real quick, I want to answer Kix's question here. Can you answer the question? Where does Taiwan Semiconductors fall into that? Where does
it's
Intel,
pretty logical,
AMD.
dude. Like, have you not thought about this?
Intel,
Go to Best Buy. Go to Best Buy and try to buy a graphics card or a GPU card or a CPU card that aren't from one of 2 companies.
Okay, well then I'll go buy an iPhone or any other Apple device that's being released right now because it's not by Intel or AMD.
What's your other? Yeah, but what's inside of them, dude? Intel chips, dude.
No, it's not.
They're making their own monopoly.
I think he's spot on. Sound logic. Can't argue it.
Analysis from Kicks here. Like,
I'm just saying, man. Oh, you don't want to buy your iPhone? Oh, what are you gonna have to do? Go buy a Google phone?
Intel, AMD monopolies. Oh, I'm wrong about that. Who else is there? Apple, they're a monopoly.
All I want to say, I want to buy my phone from like a garage startup. I want them to have like 10 employees. They're making those phones by hand. That's what I think America should look like.
All right. Well, we went way off the tangent of just the gaming side of things. But remember, if you're a company in basically anywhere, you're a monopoly, according to Kix's definition. So, you deserve to be investigated by the FTC or whoever the hell is investigating monopolies these days. Chuck Schumer.
It's just a monopoly organization. Hasbro.
Yeah, guess who's investigating them? A fucking monopoly. The government, a monopoly investigating, trying to find other monopolies, dude. It's like
you're like the government's a monopoly.
I mean, the government is a monopoly. Anyway, Nick.
Is it Hasbro or Mattel that owns Monopoly?
Hell yeah, brother.
Also a monopoly. They own all the toys.
I think it's Hasbro.
I think it's Hasbro.
Well, I will say Hasbro and Mattel are like the
monopolies of the physical gaming space in the board game industry.
I don't know that you can have 2 monopolies. Again,
no, that's the thing. In the 1980s, they were like, okay, government don't like monopolies. At a business conference, this is what it was like the keynote speaker. He's like, government don't like one company. So instead, we make 2 company. And everyone was like, oh. And that's the world we live in.
The phone company with Bell, the big Bell breakup. Is that
Monopoly morning show?
So as far as the stock, like the stock market goes, like Nick, you did, I think, allude for a moment. It seemed like you were implying that you think that the market is being irrational with how it's pricing some of these stocks. Is that the case, or was I reading that wrong?
I mean, it's hard to say that Microsoft is irrational. It's got a PE ratio of 36, which is which is relatively high compared to the historical average PE. It's like 2x that. But what's insane is these are companies like we've never seen before where they just continue to grow like astronomically despite their size. That's the thing that's like quite impressive about the tech space is that you have a company like Microsoft basically buying a $24 billion business when their annual revenue is $200 billion. So that you're looking at greater than 10% of their revenue being spent on it's divided by 8, whatever 100 divided by 8 is, 12.5%. There you go, being spent on one acquisition. And I mean, which also just shows how small it is relative to their size, but they're able to gobble up big companies at this point in time. You got someone like Apple that Kix just learned today makes their own chips because he's so pro PC and Android. But basically,
pull up this link that I just shared. This is the acquisition strategy for Microsoft. This is their like internal doc.
Okay. I just got rickrolled basically by Kix.
That's their
He pulled up an image of a Monopoly board if you're listening to the audio right now. Fair enough. But I think they're just expanding into different areas. And like the biggest thing is like their OpenAI, stake. Now, like that sort of thing is not a quote acquisition. It's an investment, but you own greater than 50%.
It's a Kevin O'Leary investment. That's a classic Kevin O'Leary.
Sneak that one in there. That's like a great move for Microsoft. Is basically you did acquire it, but you just made an investment. That's what we're calling it nowadays.
Are we a monopoly?
Okay. Let's move on to the next subject. I've had enough.
The Monopoly joke's for sure dead. But I did want to understand. Like, what your perspective is on the stock market right now, because I don't know. I feel like everyone. First of all, I saw a tweet the other day that was interesting to me. It said you sound like more sophisticated, or like you sound smarter with a bearish take than a bullish take. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
because it's like, if you have a bullish take, people think that you're just like a moon boy, hopium type of person. If you have a bearish take,
contrarian statements is like always tend to hold, like people view contrarian statements as somebody who's like done their research typically more times than not, even if it's a god awful take. But like you almost have to go counterculture against the grain. And when it comes to like traditional assets and like the finance space, having a counterculture opinion makes people like actually take another step and try to see where your justification came from. We saw it with that guy. Go ahead, Nick.
Well, you can finish the statement. We saw that guy, but I got something coming for that ass right after.
Okay, hold up. That guy Capo on Twitter was like heavily bearish and got like a ton of people just like honestly having good conversation with him about it until like the price literally only went up and then everyone called him a moron. But like if the price went down at any point, they would have been like, "You're a genius," because like it's just one of those things where you go against the grain, and when you're right, so many more people pile on like you were right, like great job.
So let me give you an example of a company that and Pio is going to be shocked that I mentioned this here. An example of a company that has been long misunderstood, but will also explain
Peloton.
Another action that just took place by Elon Musk on Twitter. And Elon Musk recently closing off their website was the defensive move for what company? Tesla. And let me explain to you why that actually is the case. And let me just take this full circle real quick in terms of valuation perspective to the comment that Pio was saying. If you're a bull, if you're a crazy bull with crazy valuation expectation, then you sound ridiculous. So here's an example of this. Years ago, when Tesla first came out and the self-driving, what do they call autopilot, came out, when they were developing that, they were winning the AI race, basically hands down. And they're still one of the top players in the AI race, specifically as it applies to driving data, although they're slowly getting encroached by larger car companies, and now they're getting encroached by other areas. But I'll get to that in one sec. The thing I was just going to say real quick is they basically, if you were trading their stock, all of the people that were shorting it were entirely based on the viewpoint that they are a car company, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so all of their pricing was based on compare them to GM and look how much money they're losing, look at their margins and all this other stuff. That's not the case anymore. And they're receiving additional, they're traded still as a successful car company, which is for the most part, all of their revenue is actually coming mostly from cars. But the reality is, it's like if you were crazy bullish on them back at that point in time, your viewpoint was not accepted by the broad market because they were saying they're not an AI company, they're a car company. They can't be valued based on an AI company. Yep. So that's where like you make the most money by taking the bull position, basically. The most you can make on the short position outside of leveraged, which I'm going to ignore, is 100%, right? Yep. That's the most that you can make on a short position. You can make way more on a bull position, which is going long. And so you can make that thesis, but if you're going to make the most money on that thesis, then you have to sound ridiculous, no matter whether you're actually a bull or a short. You need to be in the minority in order to actually have the most upside at that point in time.
Otherwise, how are you going to get the upside? If everybody thinks the same thing as you, you can't get the upside, right?
It's not alpha if everyone knows.
Everybody thinks it, yeah.
So the Tesla went through the same experience. They're still actually going through that right now. But if you're trading on the AI play, they're now running into bigger issues. And that's where like suddenly the entire framework of everything suddenly like changes all of a sudden. For example, LLM AI models were kind of denounced like broadly in the market until OpenAI comes out and rolls out ChatGPT. And now every company is suddenly fucking doing LLMs all of a sudden. And now the question of saying, well, what is Elon's car data worth in a world of language learning models, which are based solely on web data, right? So like if that's how you're like viewing the world, well, essentially now if you were the bear on Tesla, there's actually a valid position here to be like, well, they don't have a monopoly on this thing at this point in time. And thereby kicks, they never did have a monopoly. Because if you had a monopoly doesn't go away until there's intervention. So they
what percent of the electric car market do they own?
Probably
it's not a monopoly on the electric car market, though. It's a monopoly. Or unless I'm wrong, Nick's talking about a monopoly on that AI technology specifically,
which they had like a large like advantage with. Like they had a head start by a massive landslide because no one was collecting more. You could have argued that sort of complex data is way more valuable, especially if Tesla released like their own mapping software, which I would argue that they're probably the best positioned for, because Google basically was like, we're going to go make 10,000 cars and throw them out on the road with like sensors put on top. Tesla's like, we're going to sell that to the consumer and every car is going to have a sensor on it. So now they have all that data going in anywhere. Anyways, this has nothing to fucking do with NFTs. I'll just throw that out there. But
all seriousness, I'll go until 10:20, no NFT talk. I'm really enjoying this.
No, but I think he's spot on. And there is a way to correlate this to NFTs. Yesterday was 7-Eleven day. And you need a car to get to 7-Eleven, right? I'm going somewhere with this. Okay. 7-Eleven gave out NFTs to everybody that claimed their free Slurpee yesterday. See what I'm saying here? Now they have consumer data tied to an NFT. Is that a monopoly?
Sorry, which NFT got you a free Slurpee?
No, if you got a free Slurpee, you got an NFT. If you claimed a free Slurpee, they gave you an NFT.
Yeah.
You get it. You're picking up what I'm putting down.
Are you still rolling on that Monopoly joke?
Yeah. First of all, the Monopoly joke was never. There's no punchline on the Monopoly joke. No. That's number one.
And just to be serious, 7-Eleven only has 36% market share of convenience stores, so not a monopoly.
36%. That's a lot, dude. Think about all the Wawas. Think about the what are those?
That's pretty funny. Whoever made that meme. Well, ladies and gentlemen, look, today's show is actually sponsored by Iconic Moments. This is the third time that we've partnered with Iconic Moments. We love the team over there, and we think that the stuff that they do is really, really dope. So Iconic Moments is introducing Beyond the Edge, the Jackson Pollock Studio Collection, which is a limited edition print and digital art series that celebrates the life and groundbreaking, revolutionizing technique of Jackson Pollock. I mean, I'm assuming that most people in the audience know who Jackson Pollock is. So they worked with the Jackson Pollock Studio. And basically Beyond the Edge is offering a very unique glimpse into the lost edges of Pollock's masterpieces. Okay, so each piece in the collection captures the energy, the color palette, and of course the iconic drip technique that defined Pollock's work. Okay, so Only 125 editions are available for each print and digital art release. It's a very, very limited drop. So if you are an art collector, I have to think that this is one that you don't want to miss. Okay, so the prints are going to be stamped and hand numbered by the official Jackson Pollock studio, designed to provide a tangible connection to the artist. So the Iconic Moments Art Pass holders are going to have VIP access to this collection. They're also going to be allowing the Can You Dig It holders. That was the second drop by Iconic Moments. We talked about that on this show when they were dropping it. And other select communities to join the allow list for the exclusive release. And we're actually going to be giving away a piece from the collection on this show. So you can learn more by tuning into our discussion with the team tomorrow or by following the Twitter account. I'm sure that Clemente will pin it at iconic_NFT. I mean, as a Jackson Pollock fanboy, this is obviously very exciting for me. I also really like to see the traditional art world get really integrated with the NFT space in a way that's interesting, that gets people excited, that makes people, want to participate. So couldn't be more excited about this. We'll obviously learn more about it when the team's on the show, but shout out to Iconic Moments for partnering with us on the show yet again. We got the weather report. We got Kicks ready to cook with that. Kicks, please take it away.
You got it, Coach.
Hold on. Wait, you said integrated. Did you mean vertically integrated there, Pio?
Yeah, exactly. Kicks, please.
You got it, Coach.
We can't hear the music.
Well, you messed up the timing. Today is Wednesday, the 12th of July. Total market volume coming in a little above $20 million. We got Blur coming in at 14.15, OpenSea at 4.2. Looking over at the leaders, we got Apes 34.3, Mutant 6.6. Look at Punks go back up to 50.4. That's Blur's fault. D-Gods at 9. 25 D-Gods got swept on a fresh wallet. Wink, wink, say no more. Azuki 6.8. Captain's 5. Pudgy's 3.8. Over the past 24 hours, Ether addressed the reveal in new mint structure. Free capsules will be airdropped to current holders. A Dutch auction will be used for the remaining supply, and royalties have increased from 5 to 7.5%. Manual reveal happening today. Floor sold off from 0.6 down to 0.4 ETH. Makes sense with the airdrop. Parallel avatars from the sci-fi collectible game sold out 11,000 at a 0.11 ETH mint, raising over $2 million. Did a pretty cool activation with OpenSea. OpenSea changed their logo to parallel colors. Word on the street from Leonidas NFT is that Ledger hardware wallet support is coming to Xverse app. There will be a huge upgrade for ordinals, given the recent Xverse exploit, where the wallet seed phrase was stored as plain text on the user's hard drive. Now you can keep it nice and safe inside your ledger. Lastly, Twitter influencer Beanie shared to be careful about Memeland following concerns around high floor price trait marketplace in the upcoming token sale. 9gag CEO embraced the FUD by retweeting Beanie's tweet and updating his avatar to wear a beanie cap. You gotta love that. That's legendary. Looking over at Bitcoin, we just had inflation come down nice and low. Bitcoin sitting at 30.7, ETH 1885, Solana 2250. Nice movement across the board. Flattening out a little bit here, though. Back to you in the studio.
Fantastic weather report as usual, Kick. Some updates from the Nifty Daily Digest, which is the daily newsletter released from the Nifty.com. You need to have an account at the Nifty.com to claim the free NFTs that we give away almost every day on this show. We'll be giving one away later in the show. So go to the Nifty.com, make an account so you can participate. FTX briefly launched a customer claims portal for users to submit claims and access account information, but the portal went offline within an hour with ongoing bankruptcy proceedings and a criminal trial for former CEO Sam Bankman-Fried set to begin in October. I mean, the FTX story is just so weird and janky, and I don't really understand any of the developments that have happened since the collapse. Everything's weird. And yeah, it's just very strange stuff going on over there. Station 3 successfully sold out their mintable supply of 850 Patron NFTs, which are part of an open edition featuring artwork from artist Grant Yun, with the proceeds allocated to fund a Web3 hub in New York City, as well as grants for builders and creators in the Web3 space. So I guess us New Yorkers will have to go and check out that Web3 hub.
Can't buy XRP though.
Last but not least, Blur shipped 3 new new interface features, adding support for collection social links, searching accounts via ENS, and custom listing durations. So Blur continuing to ship. Not that surprising. They seem to have a very strong technical team being led by Pac-Man, and it looks like maybe people aren't blaming them for everything bad happening in their lives over the past 3 or 4 days compared to the previous week or so. Anyway, those are your stories from the Nifty Daily Digest. Sign up at thenifty.com. And when you're at thenifty.com, connect your ETH and Solana wallet. If you have a Phantom wallet, that's our official wallet partner, and Phantom supports Ethereum and Solana, as well as Polygon, and has a lot of really cool features that I talk about on the show regularly. First story, Memecoin. Memecoin pre-sale allocations have been revealed. So I did see though that the captain's price pulled back, and plus ETH is poised to go up. I don't know. What do you guys think? This is tough because what do we expect from the meme coin? And do we really think that the cost of a captain plus whatever the allocation is for meme coin ends up being higher than the 10 ETH floor that we saw the collection touch? I'd love to know what you guys think.
Well, I think Ray's response was pretty solid, and that's definitely the best way to handle FUD from Beanie. Beanie's update was really not that insightful. I'm going to hey, this random token that's about to drop. If you were to always tweet token X that's about to drop has a lot of downside risk, then you're probably going to be right 99% of the time.
Right.
So I don't know. That's my only takeaway.
Easy. Do you have any thoughts on meme coin and captains? And
I fumbled this trade. All-time fumble. All-time historic level fumble.
Fell in love with your bags,
God level fumble. I'm so dumb. I said my exit, didn't list the stupid thing. Went against the grain. I'm a moron. And now we're almost back to my entry of 0.00624.
Well,
so,
Easy, if it makes you feel any better, dude, you basically just lost 5 ETH, which is roughly $10,000. They're paying summer interns that at banking finance firms now $10,000 a month, so it's not even that much money anymore. So you really didn't lose.
Are you telling me to go to traditional finance and intern in a popular?
I'm saying summer interns making more than I made most of my damn life.
Did you see Easy at Goldman Sachs all of a sudden making that transition? I just
he's more of a 1980s Solomon Brother guy.
Yeah, dude, I'm an Enron type of guy. Come on now, what could possibly go wrong?
You're more the style of the guy outside of the New York Stock Exchange who's basically smoking a cigarette, being like, "Today was a tough day, man."
My port's red, the market's green. I don't know what the hell went wrong.
Dump some toxic bonds on this grandmother from Wisconsin.
I think if anything, I'm like Jonah Hill in Wolf of Wall Street when he has to call his boss and tell him he quit. That's kind of how I feel right now, watching the captain's price action. Hit my exit, me fading myself per usual. The one thing I will say, I feel good about Vessels. That's a trade I am confident in.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that's what and hopefully I'm going to generationally fumble that too when it hits my exit. I can't wait. But now the captain's play, there was a bunch of math going on. When you have these tokens that are actually going to have liquidity pools, all of a sudden everybody does quick maths. And we've now seen someone was yeah, this has to be a $500 billion market cap. And when I saw that chart, I was like, I should just sell this fucking thing right now. Because someone was like, it's got to get to 500 billion and every captain makes 37 grand. And I was like, yeah, that's sick. 500 billion.
That's a lot.
I feel awesome. What a good number.
We haven't seen this kind of Hopium math before.
Yeah,
wow, this is hilarious. Wait, no, Clemente, I need to see that again.
Dude, every time you see one of these, it literally speed runs to zero. Last time we saw this was somebody posted an ape coin chart with max staked ape assets, and they were like, I'm making $67,000 a month. I'm retiring my great grandkids. The next day, the coin dropped 72%. So Like every time someone pulls out one of these and goes big brain calculator, nothing good happens.
Sorry, what is this 4.89? What's factor at 100 million market cap? What's
This is
factor?
what they're up. So essentially what this person's saying is they calculated every single allocation. If they fully minted their 0.69 max pre-sale, what the market cap would be about $20.5 million, right? Not including the airdrop. And then they're basically saying, so if this reaches a $100 million market cap, they would be up 4.89x.
Can I just say something real quick? I 100% agree with everyone else in the world. We're probably wrong on Celsius, Fahrenheit. We're wrong on like yards versus meters. But you guys put fucking commas in numbers, dude.
That's so weird, dude.
I don't have a problem with the commas, but there was other stuff going on where the dollar sign was after the number and stuff. I was like, guys, what are we really doing here? I don't know about that. I don't have that big of a problem with the commas. So wait, but that at $100 million market cap, it would be a 4.89x from here?
They're basically saying this is going to be, they calculated the maximum allocation. If everyone minted out, it would be $20.5 million market cap based off of what everyone's paying.
Is that circulating or FTV?
Circulating.
So right out the gate, and then to get to 100 million would be a 5x.
Right.
A little under. But the issue is like there's other things that come into this because what you just saw was only for the airdrop. There's also an IDO phase. There's also a free claim for MVPs. So like right away, like, dude, I think in order to get a 5x, this thing's got to open up at like $500 million. Like, no honestly, shit. Dude, I think people are seriously giving it like, I think they're putting their expectations already too high for it. Like, I think that this is not going to give as much as people think it will. And like I said, dude, when you see these charts, that's like the first thing where I'm like, I want to sell this. Like, I'm at a point where like I'm about to break even on an exit just because I hate when quick maths come out. Because the last time I saw this, I was making $200 a day walking 47 feet with stepping, and we saw how that ended. Like I hate these charts.
What do you make now?
3 cents and like 3.46 cents, and it's also a 30. Yeah, it's a 37-minute walk now too. So they've upped the mileage and it decreased the cost.
Easy. 3 cents.
I'm joking. It's like $4 a day right now.
That's pretty good.
$4 a day is sick. It's a coffee. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Stepping's still stepping, dude. Easy. What is or Clemente, if you know, what's the timing on it? So is it like airdrop first, then pre-sale, then because like in the NFT space, we've seen a lot of airdrops, right? And like one of the best strategies has been like buy the day one dumpage, right? And then a lot of times you'll catch like a 2x rally. The difference here is I don't think any of those projects where that happened was there also a pre-sale attached where basically you're having to factor in an additional liquidity drain and supply increase.
Kicks, you're looking at this from like also understanding like what did Pepe hit for a market cap? Was that
quite
over
a
$1 billion?
bit. It was over $1 billion.
1.4, 1.5.
Yeah, so like theoretically this could have legs too. My bigger concern with this is the second this token goes out, Captain's floor price literally implodes. Like, because now everyone's gotten their value extraction moment and are going to just basically try to cut quick and recoup on the coin.
You got to think that Ray's thinking that. He seems pretty smart. So you'd think that they're already strategizing something maybe similar to Ape, like staking.
Yeah.
Some sort of staking.
So there was a 2-hour AMA shared yesterday, and it's basically they're going to do this airdrop, but I don't think it's going to be sellable until this the pre-sale happens. So it's going to go airdrop, and then the pre-sale fire sales are calling it. And then basically what Ray has shared during this AMA is that his number one focus is making this driving as much value or basically things that you can do with this meme token. And then I believe right after that, they're going to be seeing the first drop of these smart PFPs come right after that. And my assumption would be obviously you use the meme coin for that as well.
Interesting. Well, we'll have to see how it shakes out. Yeah, it's crazy how much of a pullback we've actually seen on that. It's a 50% drop in ETH terms. The other thing is like OSF, for example, was tweeting about his predictions. He was referencing a tweet from 2022 or a tweet thread that he put out in 2022 that is shaping up to be relatively accurate. And I mean, you have to think if ETH pumps from here to $2,500, it might have especially if it's a gradual pump, it'll have an adverse effect on NFT prices in ETH terms. US dollar terms, these NFTs are still up. So it's not like it was a bad investment overall, but it's just that same thing that we've seen before, which is basically you would have just been better off holding Ethereum, which I think gets under a lot of people's skin, right? Is that it's like, well, I could have just done nothing and actually made more money. And that's a tough pill to swallow a lot of times. Any other commentary on Captain's, meme coin, potatoes, anything that we've seen here before we move on?
Yeah, I was going to say on the smart PFPs, it just feels as if people aren't really, they're kind of underestimating, I think, the direction that PFPs will go in the next 12 to 18 months. It just seems to be a lot of skepticism that no one, like the market's not anticipating, I think, the sort of the innovativeness of what Ray is trying to do. And I just don't imagine a world in the next 18 months where we just have these static PFPs, that they're just these pictures that don't do anything. And I think it does depend what Ray does with it. If it's just like, if it's just like, okay, you know, I can interchange whatever I want, that's not very interesting. But if he's doing brand partnerships where Memeland has partnered with a brand that the space really likes, and those traits can be bought or sold and are linked to something physical, but potentially in like the real world, linked to physical merch or physical products, that then like those traits inherently have value. And we haven't seen him play that out yet, because everybody, I think right now, is just seeing it as a basic, like, one day I can wear a beanie hat, the next day I can wear a baseball cap, but not thinking about the brand partnerships that can be put in place on top of this tech. So I think perhaps there's a little bit of like skepticism as to what these traits might bring to the market, and we'll see something new come out in the next 12 months. The price might not stay at 5 ETH, but I think, you know, it's a model that can be copied by other projects as well.
So we've seen this on Solana already. Trait swapping, trait marketplaces, some like very low hanging brand like partnerships. And the issue is, like, we've now already started to see people call these dynamic PFPs like almost like a nothing burger, I guess. But I do think Captains is the best opportunity to partner for additional brands to actually give you unique traits and do that like real world redeemable per se. It's just that coming from Sol, we've seen this exact meta play out. And if Captains does it well, you're going to see basically every other project do the same type of iteration and action. And there are a few projects who already have this live, but nobody has like the stature that Captains is at, you know? So I think that's the bigger pull. But once a lot of projects start doing this same type of approach, it kind of loses its allure. And everyone's like, oh, awesome. Now we're just going to be getting like base characters, and we have to kind of like Club Penguin build them out style. Like if you look too, you have like Pudgy World, which is doing this on Polygon already with like your avatar and character, but no partnerships. I think the big thing is, to your point, it has to come down to like a quality partnership, or else it will just be like a nothing burger. I think you also lose a little bit of like the fun that is collecting, because like when you hit a rare trait, you don't want somebody else to just be able to like swap that trait or mess with rarity, you know? And like there's some level of like enjoyment that comes out to collecting full sets of specific traits, or cornering the market, or chasing a trait that's hyper rare. And like that's like the essence of collectability, I think. And like it all stems from like cards and sneakers and clothes, even, of like these things aren't replicated or redropped. And like from traditional collectibles, we saw like Nike and retro Jordans dilute the ever-living hell out of their rare supplies and see floor prices on those kind of crumble. And that's where this becomes like a really interesting dynamic that I don't know what the future holds for it. And I'm hopeful, like maybe just because I have bag bias at this point, still holding these assets. So I'm hoping that it runs, but we've kind of seen this play out in a few different verticals, and it tends to have a negative price impact.
But I do agree with sorry, Pio. I do agree with what Signal is saying, in the sense of, I feel like the market is so short-term oriented that it's hard for some projects to execute towards a longer version, towards a longer vision, because they're like held to this short-term price action and short-term results thing, which is what people want. And it's hard if you're trying to build towards a future that you see like what PFPs are going to be 2 years from now. So I have not bought a single Memeland thing. I don't know if I would buy in maybe before the airdrop, but I would like to make a bet, like a counter, like a contrarian bet, if these things, you know, dump to 3 ETH after the pre-sale or airdrop or whatever. Because I think that, you know, yeah, there's a lot of people that have done the trait activations in the past, but there's still ample opportunity to do it better and do it innovative. So I'll be keeping my eye on them.
Well, Signal was definitely right about the way that people are, I guess, skeptical of quote unquote PFPs. I mean, what we've seen here in the past like 2 months, the way that I see people tweet about quote unquote PFPs, it's so fascinating to me. Like there's this audience of people that buys like art blocks and buys one of one artwork, and they have a kind of like an elitist view again towards quote unquote PFPs. They're not understanding the kind of startup side of the NFT space. Also, I feel like we've seen in this bear market a lot of people that were like praised as gods during the bull market, and then the bear market comes around and you're like, wait a minute, these people don't have jobs. They just bought Ethereum in like 2016. They put like 15K into Ethereum in 2016 and then just based their whole life on that. Yeah. And I'm like, you're not building a startup in Web3. You're not building a startup in Web2. You don't have a day job. What do you do? You're just a full-time investor. I'm like, I feel like you just have a lot of time on your hands and you're posting like weird tweets about that are positive for art, but negative for anything else that's happening in the space, and definitely positive for Ethereum every single day.
And PFPs are really in the digital identity sector, right?
Yeah.
Which, like, if you call them PFPs, I feel like you really make them seem, the market seems smaller than where it could be in the future. Like if you've ever read Ender's Game, like they had a whole pseudonym, like communication network where like Ender was his, I think his name was like Locke or something like that. So like digital identities going into the future are going to be powerful.
They also kind of had children fighting each other to the death, which was pretty cool as well. So that was like, so that's like also part of the future. But the thing that I was going to say about the PFP side of things, look, 99% of them are worthless, but the bigger thing with it is like the vast majority are just wildly overvalued. Like that's just the bottom line associated with it. And I actually understand like the art side. I think the reason where you're like, wait, so you're telling me that you just spend all of your time investing? Like, what's that? What's that about? And I'm the thought that I have is like, yeah, that is a portion of the audience, and they're used to collecting maybe traditional art, and so that's why they're so focused on it. Like,
well, they weren't used to collecting traditional art before crypto art.
Got it. So you're talking about someone that just happened to be early to crypto, and then ended up making money, and now is just parroting the
rocking a crypto punk for sure, tweeting about art blocks. Like that is an archetype.
VR glasses, red hair, crypto punk talking about.
But Nick, you said 99% of them will be worthless. My thing is like when you say that, you're right. But second, you have to mention why. And it's because someone just made art and a smart contract, put it out there, and that's it. They're not trying to do the startup thing.
Well, hold on one sec. There's actually another layer to this. When this whole space came out, before I bought my Bored Ape, I was writing my own newsletter. And one of the things I said in there to a slew of investors was, hey, this market has the potential to be in the billions. And that market being profile pictures. Literally just that by itself, that I think that people, to Kix's point, want something to represent their identity other than just a photo of themselves. And so there's a market inherent for that. Now, what people are willing to pay for those particular photos, just as a profile picture, literally nothing else. So you could put art that fits into that, but there's a category that exists in the market where there will be marketplaces for selling literally just profile pictures. And if you view that the fact that there's, call it 3 billion people on social media, and I may be rounding up, I don't know what the exact number is, but call it 3 billion people that are on it, and 20% of those are, let's say, may be willing to buy a profile picture to represent themselves, then you have 600 million people that are willing to buy a profile picture at some price and probably willing to update it each year, let's say. So if you just had that and they're willing to spend $5 on that, then you have a $3 billion market that exists just on that one subsegment of identity associated with digital identity. You're excluding the luxury end of whatever that market is. If someone in social media is able to package that, so it's a multi-billion-dollar market that no one was investing in prior to the NFT space, and then the NFT space turned it into something even bigger, which is saying you're investing in something beyond just this. And what that beyond is for the majority of people is bullshit and magic, basically, is what you're buying into. And the hope of the future of this thing that we're going to build, which we're very obscure about what that is exactly that we're building. So I think overall, yeah, the majority of the PFP market is actually complete nonsense. And
but you're not being, when you say that, you're still not being specific about the fact that like these people put out profile pictures and then never like worked.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's like a legitimate portion of the market, though, if it was just for the profile picture and nothing else. Like if you literally came out, I think artists have the ability to drop a profile picture that people will want to buy and make money, because I think there's a multi-billion-dollar market for literally profile pictures, just as profile pictures.
Well, sure, but then it has to be a fine artist making that, because there has to be some sort of backing of some sort. And the fine artist, let's say Ferocious, for example, who's doing a profile picture collection, or any established fine artist, they can do the profile picture thing. And what that profile picture is backed by is their art career. So when you buy any piece of art, when you buy an art block, anything, you are betting that this artist is going to continue to progress their career. It's not singularly about the image, just like the art in a museum is not singularly about the image. It's about the provenance and the career of the artist continuing to progress. You can't just make a cartoon image and then never do anything else and put it out and expect it to gain value. It's just not how it works. So when someone buys a one-of-one artwork, they are betting on that artist's future career. The artist isn't making a tech startup, but the artist is going to continue to make art, and in a perfect world, progress in the traditional and crypto art world. And that's what you see with Ferocious. The reason Ferocious's stuff is valued is because the traditional art world has expressed real interest in Ferocious.
Yeah, you're talking about valuing profile pictures, and I'm saying that like the speculative PFP market is 1% of the entire market. What percentage of the sneaker market gross sales is from people speculating on sneaker prices?
I mean, Easy would be the best person to answer that. It's also a significantly older market. It's also a market.
Small though.
But yeah, this is my whole point. What I'm saying is that 99% of this market is going to be people literally buying it because they're like, yo, that Bodega looks cute, man.
But it's also buying it because you like the brand is another aspect of it. Like you look at something like, and even that also comes from like the like sneaker, streetwear, collectible side of things. It's like, dude, I have 3 Bear Bricks right here that I'm never going to resell them. I just bought them because I like them. And that's the thing. Like there's a resale market for them that's extremely small. But the collectibles market is people that just genuinely buy things because they like them. And I think PFPs fit more into line with the collectibles market than, say, the art market. That's kind of the bigger thing that I like compare it to. And I think that there's a level of that where you can continue to lean into collectability through the entire digital space. And like we've started to see some of this, and I think that there are projects right now that are continuing to emphasize it. Like honestly, I think like Yuga's heavy metal is rather interesting for the collectible space, because you buy assets to collect based on visual appearance and additional utility that give you more collectibles and let you kind of experience this growing ecosystem that in turn you go out and buy a super plastic of Curtis, or you go out and buy Ape Water that someone released. And that's where I think that idea of collectability extends, because like Nike is a great example. Sneakers, now clothes. Nike made golf clubs for a while before they discontinued those. And like, you know it because of a name brand that makes you feel comfortable putting your money into it.
I still have some Nike clubs. I didn't know they discontinued.
I think they're back now. There was a brief stint, but like Big Bertha was their driver head. That was like the iconic one. I still love that damn thing.
Who's buying Nike clubs? Nick, I think when you talk about the speculative thing, it should be mentioned that that's just the crypto part, you know, getting into this digital collectibles thing. We had Alex Gladstein on the Bitcoin show yesterday. I mean, to say it's insightful, I mean, it was the fastest hour of my life, and we could have talked to him for 4 hours. But one comment he made that I got a kick out of, and this is a guy that's been in Bitcoin. It took him 4 years to understand Bitcoin. So he's skeptical on Bitcoin for his first 4 years, and now he's been working in it for like 8. So the guy's been in Bitcoin for a long time and has a robust understanding of Bitcoin. And he was like a huge percentage of the Bitcoin and crypto space is just people speculating on the price. And like just hearing him talk about it was funny, because it's like you can tell that he's just like shaking his head because it's such revolutionary and groundbreaking technology. But then you got like some jackass 28-year-old in a basement with a bag of potato chips and a soda just being like, I'm going to make $80 trading this thing today. And it's just like so funny that that's how it works. But the technology lends itself to be able to do that. So it attracts people. But so many people have zero understanding of this stuff, even though they're participating in it. So you have the audience that buys a profile picture collection or a piece of art, either or, and they're just like, this is basically a shit coin with an image that I'm buying today to sell tomorrow for slightly more money to buy lunch, right? But the reality is there are people that are investing in these. Again, I hesitate to call them PFP projects, because when you say that, I've been at in-person events that are the kind of the artsy crowd, and it's basically a political statement for them to shame or put down PFPs. It's the same thing as Democratic Republican. It's like fine art versus PFP. I'm here for the art, that whole thing. It's just fascinating for me to see it play out. But the reality is, if there is an acknowledgement of the startup side of the NFT space that is essentially running with crypto digital collectibles and digital identity being at the forefront, then there is just a misunderstanding. That's my position. And I think when you say most PFPs will be worthless, the one thing that has to be acknowledged is that most of the PFPs were put out because people saw it as an opportunity to make money and do nothing more. And we've seen several examples, including from some of the top 5 collections, where the founders have a history of just putting out a collection, milking 700,000 to 2.5 million out, acting like they were going to do something, Discord messages, having basically a whole game plan to kind of lead on the audience of that, the holders of that, milk some royalties, and then move on and do it again. And we've seen that from notable people in the space. I'm not going to name names, but I think people can figure out who it is. Anyway, before we move on, I want to pause for a quick minute to talk about the sponsor of today's show again, Iconic Moments. We've partnered with them several times. Extremely excited to talk to them about the Jackson Pollock drop that is coming up. So this is a rare opportunity for all art fans out there to add quite frankly, a masterpiece to your collection with the Beyond the Edge release from the official Jackson Pollock Studio collection. So this goes beyond the canvas. It showcases the edges of Jackson Pollock's renowned paintings that fell onto his studio floor. So we're going to talk about the technical part of this. I think everyone's going to think it's really, really cool. But when you see the work, you'll kind of understand why I'm so excited about this. There's going to be 425 physical prints and 425 matching digital NFTs. And each physical print is going to be museum quality, hand numbered, and stamped with authenticity. Your collection includes a physical print mailed directly to you, along with a corresponding digital NFT for versatile display options. So Iconic Moment Art Pass holders, that's an NFT that's on the market right now. You can buy it on OpenSea right now. They have VIP access to this collection, and they're extending the opportunity to the Can You Dig It holders, also available on OpenSea. We partnered with them to talk about that drop a couple months back, and other select communities to join the allow list. So don't miss your chance to own this. Follow Iconic Moments Twitter. I'm sure Clemente has it pinned to the top. We're going to be talking to that team about this drop in depth. So we got an addition of buy, sell, or send it to zero here on tap from Clemente. We'll go ahead and get into that a little bit. Sell or send it to zero with our very own Easy Eats Bodega, day trader extraordinaire.
I just bought one.
No, you didn't.
Please sell it. Oh, no. Zero. Send it to zero, Easy. This thing is garbage.
Ladies and gentlemen, buy, sell, or send it to zero with our very own day trader extraordinaire, Easy Eats Bodega. In this segment, he lets us know if he's buying a collection, selling a collection, or sending that collection to zero. Easy, are you ready?
I was born ready.
Yeah, you weren't ready. Nah. We got Potatoes at 1.6 ETH. We already talked about the meme pre-sale. We talked about captains. Are we buying, selling, or sending Potatoes to zero?
No hesitation selling. Token coming in, less allocation to Potatoes. I think it's one of those buy the dip moments, however, post-token drop. That's personally where I'm looking right now. My big thing for it is like at 1.6, if captains push down to 3, you're going to see Potatoes sub 1, and that becomes more interesting. It seems Ray is very hyper-conscious of the 2 assets in the ecosystem, and that's the bigger play, in my opinion. I do hold 1 captain, 1 potato. I may honestly sell the potato here. Just generational fumble, bro. My God. I think I'm underwater on my potato. Yeah, I'm probably selling it.
Tough one. Signal.
Same page as Easy. I'll be selling Potatoes here as well. But the difference is I would actually sell it while Easy just theoretically sells it in his head. No, I agree. Don't shake your head, Easy.
I'm shaking it at myself. My emotional detachment from the project is in place, and mentally I've sold it already as I watch the US dollar value continue to trickle down.
Exactly. No, I agree on the airdrop stuff as well. There's definitely going to be a sell-off unless Ray comes in with something immediately afterwards. So right now I'd be selling and then potentially pick up later.
Nick, would you buy, sell, or send Potatoes to zero?
Okay, well, I wouldn't send it to zero. I don't know. With all of the negativity right now and the pullback, I'm going to take the counter position here. I don't know which day I would buy it, but I actually think it goes on one more run. When is the airdrop?
Soon.
Okay. So
Without an official date?
I don't think there's official.
No official date, but people are expecting it's within at least the next 2 weeks. Sorry.
Yeah,
the
this
lack
month.
of a date is the only concerning thing there. A date would really provide us a nice point to run it up to. And without that date, actually, I take no position in this. So I would sell it. But if they provide a date, clarity on the date would actually send this thing.
Yeah, probably, because then it makes people buy in anticipation of it, which would give you that exit price.
Yeah, and I would get out before that date. So that would be my position on this entire trade.
Coach says this month, they said we'll have to see when it actually comes out. So that's that's 3 sells, or I guess Nick's giving us different scenarios there.
I don't have a firm position on this. I'm taking none unless they have a date. But actually,
dude, he never follows the rules. He never follow the rules for any of the games.
Okay, here it is. I'm a buy.
It's buy, sell, or send it to zero. 3 options, dude. You fucking pick one.
I just said buy.
Bunny, what are you picking?
I'm selling it.
I'm not surprised. There you go.
Selling it. I'm taking a buy here for literally a 1 week flip.
1 week flip. It's July 12th. If it's happening this week, that's probably the time horizon you're looking at. Next collection, 10KTF G tags at 0.45 ETH. G tags are expected to receive more details about the upcoming profile picture collection and the involvement in the 10KTF ecosystem. Looks like Clemente noted that those updates might come tomorrow.
Buy. No hesitation. This is a buy. Get in, sub 0.5. Exit at like 0.65, 0.7. That's where we've seen a subtle little run up. You can sell the announcement news tomorrow. That's my play on G tags. I think that there's no hesitation on it. I think that right now we potentially get some tease on what the PFP is going to be. A lot of speculation that this is the next Yuga PFP, and the heavy involvement to Legends of Mara and other key components in which 10KTF has been building should drop tomorrow. So I've done a little bit of research on this. Clearly, I'm looking at a buy here, sub half an ETH, sell near 0.7. I'm not looking for a home run. We're in a bear market, baby. Crypto's pumping, but this is one of those plays that you actually have a definitive timeline to get a little bit of leveraged exposure, almost like an options call on ETH in hopes that 10KTF, who's great at storytelling, has a quality announcement.
All right, we got a buy call from Easy. Signal.
While I agree on the buy, I don't agree on the exit because first of all, it's called definitely revealing all the secrets of G tags, which means he's not revealing all the secrets of G tags. And we've seen like when Figgy does these types of like presentations, like they cut off at the cliffhanger, and you're left like, So it's just like I'm not like I think G tags are a good buy. I don't like the narrative of another Yuga asset because what does that put us at as a total number? I think keeping them separate in sort of like the 10KTF universe, sort of like it feels less dilutive. So I like it. I like 10KTF. I like G tags. I like the price right now, but I think people shouldn't expect all the secrets. So the exit price might be a little bit lower, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see tomorrow. Easy's probably going to be right on this and I'll be wrong, but I like it as a buy.
No. It's
Why, Nick? Why? What do you have for us?
The information has already been revealed. There's no information arbitrage at this point. The information arbitrage passed. That it was basically everyone that was saying G tag is the PFP and snapping those up at a discount. dumped
Look at the
on.
chart. We're like all-time lows right here.
Yeah, these have sold off massively. These, like, you could have converted your Genesis and probably sold it for like an ETH about 3 months ago.
That chart is ugly.
Here's my issue with it. I don't think it's getting any better, basically. Like, the reality is this. It's hard. Dude, people aren't paying. Like, if you're a PFP and you're trading at, somewhere between 0.5 and 1.5, you're doing well. But I think just for this, basically at this point, what you're buying is an art anticipation pump. And the reality is if you get, if your G tag equals PFP, you also have people dumping it on the reveal. And then the question is, what comes after that? This is just a no-go area for me. This just feels like I would not touch this thing. If people were that bullish on this price would already be higher.
Well, we know that it's an ERC 1155, and that doesn't position it very well. The other thing is that there's a ton of 10KTF assets. I do also think at the end of the day, I mean, I have a lot of questions about 10KTF. And obviously they have a very passionate audience for sure, or it's not a huge audience, but it's a passionate audience. I think I have a lot of questions about 10KTF. Bunny, are you buying, selling, or sending G tags to zero?
No, I'm with Easy. I would buy this here.
Look at us, just two best friends making the right plays together.
Two peas in a pod today, man.
Any insight, Bunny?
No, I think Easy nailed it, man. I think you have obvious news coming tomorrow, and then it'll run a little bit on that. It's a no-brainer. Nick is, I mean, fading Nick almost works unanimously, right? So
it's two addicts hanging out with each other, justifying their trades right now. But yeah, cool. Like,
Nick's middle curving it. You can't middle curve it every time. You're making too much sense. Right,
I'm not
in the middle
curving it. I'm telling you that I've watched this market play at this point. Easy's conviction at this point, though, is making me want to buy. But that's the only thing that this project has going for it is Easy Eats has a strong.
No, you're underestimating the 10KTF community cult. Like, I was in there for a moment, and that is a passionate community.
Dude, I just love what they do too.
They love what this isn't Ether coming out or like a brand new project. This has been established since September 2021. These guys have been going for almost 2 years before the PFP has released. I think there's going to be a price action here that some people haven't fully priced in because it's such an old project. So you had to have kind of known it from 2 years ago and not just jumped in now. And then B, it's like, again, this is Yuga. It's another one of those assets. It can be used in the universe if they want to use it in the universe. Were they on the special council table? Was 10KTF on the special council table at all? I can't remember.
Wagmi's son was, right?
So Wagmi. Okay, so they're somehow involved there. So I think at 0.44, there's still upside here. I'm with Easy and Bunny, but Pio, I wanted to ask, what are your questions?
Oh, my questions are what's the game plan for all this stuff? Is it just that we're waiting for other side to be playable because then all the 10KTF bags will be the premier items for your character in other side? I think that would make sense to me. Are we just kind of on pause for that? How long have G tags been out? Is it a Beeple profile picture collection? If so, it's just been it seems like a long wait. I mean, I have questions about what collections are involved in these games that Yuga Labs is putting out, because some of the collection selection, I mean, Bunny pointed out on the show the other day, I just kind of raised an eyebrow. The thing is there's just a lot of stuff in the 10KTF ecosystem. I think it would have worked a lot better on a gasless chain. Think about when they did the crafting with the materials for the bags and stuff. It came out at the all-time high, literally, for Ethereum. It was late 2021, fall 2021, October, November time frame. So gas was through the roof. If that had come out on a gasless chain, that would have been so much fun. And I think there would have been more activity. Obviously, a lot of people participated. I'm not saying that there wasn't a lot of participation, but keep in mind, this thing's been out for 2 years now. Is there going to be further development with some of the gaming stuff that they do on their website, or now because they've been acquired by Yuga Labs, are they just kind of like, hey, Yuga's got the gaming stuff, we'll chill and we'll wait for it? But those are kind of my questions surrounding 10
one
KTF.
good thing here consistently that it's still a topic of conversation 2 years later. How many other projects can we say the same about? Every Thursday at noon, you're getting something. It doesn't matter how big or how little it is. People continue to follow the story. People are waiting for that. Enough. They're still selling for half an ETH.
Yeah, no, well, that's the point. Is that's it basically. I think that the reality, everyone's like, you're underestimating the 10K TF community. They already bought this. Well, they're already in there. They're not suddenly like, it's not like suddenly a new wave of 10K TF people are aping into this thing. I just don't see it happening.
From a price action perspective, my question is why is it not already priced in? If we're saying it's a buy, it feels easy for me to just buy this today. Then the thing comes out, the announcement comes out tomorrow. I would like to just have easy price appreciation for sure. But yeah, those are my questions. We'll see what happens, and I hope that
Nick will get an answer tomorrow, and you and me are gonna square up.
Can't wait to see the answer tomorrow.
I'll see you in the streets, punk.
Meet me in the Coliseum on the Zuck Elon undercard. What's up?
That was the funniest line. Is like the Roman Coliseum is the best place for that fight to happen. Excuse me. On third collection,
his cough is getting better. By the way, we like hang out, and he's like, "Yo, dude, my cough is getting way better on the fast track here to success." It's been going for like weeks now.
Yeah, now that I'm back in New York, it'll go away. So last collection here, Fatzuki at 0.02 Ethereum. They revealed last night. They saw a dip from 0.07 to 0.02. Is this the future of NFTs?
No, going to zero. Going to zero. No hesitation. The fat spirit Azukis were selling for an ETH though, which is the funniest thing.
That's what you said was going to happen.
Yeah, a few of them sold. Someone fat fingered one, and then the floor crashed. It did sell off right after reveal to like 0.02, pumped up to like 0.04, 0.05, and I thought it would get up to 0.1. Didn't happen. I think it's over.
The fat bodoggos are looking pretty funny, and I'd actually, I don't want to pump a derivative shitty project, but
we're not acknowledging fat bodoggos.
Okay, well, my apologies, Pio, but they stole our art and they made it really good and funny, and I like it.
Not acknowledging fat bodoggos. Signal.
I just did.
We got Renga, or excuse me, we got Fatzuki at 0.02 ETH. What are we thinking?
I love this meta. I don't know why, but it just makes me smile. And even seeing fat bodoggos, it works somehow. And I love everybody's Web 2 me versus Web 3 me, where they were like fit and slim before they went into Web 2, and then Web 3 just made them look like a Fatzuki. Whilst I love this collection, I think whoever came up with it nailed the meta and the funness of what we all used to love on these, degen mints. I am sending this to zero, but appreciate it for the time that it's been around. Can't believe those spirits were also selling for 0.6, 0.8. That is pretty darn crazy. But yeah, nailed it, but going to zero.
That was basically the lotto that you were trading yesterday. Was you were trying to get the spirit one. That was what was priced in. Everything else just did not see a pump at all. And what was the high that we got to? 0.07?
0.08.
0.08. So yeah. But the spirit people, if you got some spirits in there, like you ended up making a nice little bag, which was ultimately the trade.
That was your lottery ticket for sure. Bunny, Fatzuki at 0.02.
I mean, yeah, send it to zero. I would probably buy these at zero though, because I don't know, I'm with Signal. These things make me laugh.
There you go. We got Bunny's take. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, one last time, want to take the opportunity to bring awareness to the sponsor of the show, Iconic Moments, our third time partnering with them. This drop is the Jackson Pollock collection that they're dropping. Yes, the Jackson Pollock. So it's called Beyond the Edge, the Jackson Pollock Studio Collection, limited edition print and digital art series, and it offers a connection to the iconic artist's studio floor where his masterpieces were created. So with this collection, you'll possess a unique fragment of art history. It combines physical and digital artwork and provides a tangible and digital connection to the vibrant colors and raw energy that define Jackson Pollock's work. So you receive a physical print which was meticulously crafted by renowned printmakers, and a corresponding NFT. The NFT will be linked to the physical print, adding rarity and value to the collection. For Iconic Moments Art Pass holders, that's available right now on the secondary on OpenSea. They get VIP access to the collection beginning next week. We're also giving away one of the exclusive art pieces on the show. So don't miss out on just a crazy opportunity, in my opinion, to own a true piece of art history. The prints are sick. We're going to talk about the details surrounding the prints for sure when we have the Iconic Moments team on the show. So if you want to explore this, follow Iconic on Twitter. Clemente should have the tweet pinned, and you should be able to see it there. We're really excited about this one. Can't wait to have the team on the show to talk about it. We got a free NFT to give away, though, right, Clemente?
Yes, sir. Today's password is SWORD47, SWORD, and the number 47. That's SWORD47. Go claim that at thenifty.com for today's free NFT. And it's also tweeted and pinned up at the top.
So go to thenifty.com/claim, put in the password SWORD47. This is the second piece in the Long Live Solana collection. I mean, I like it. Live by the Sword is the name of the piece. Go to thenifty.com/claim. SWORD47 is the code for the free NFT. And look, ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. If it's your first time listening, we do the show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. Eastern time each and every week. All things NFTs, crypto, technology, entertainment, gaming, finance, and everything between are discussed. The show's also available on YouTube if you'd like to see our faces during the show, and also Apple and Spotify podcasts if you'd like to share the show with people outside of the Twitter bubble. That's how you can do it. All the links are available in the NFT Morning Show Twitter account that you see hosting this show right now on Twitter. Anyway, thanks everyone for joining.